Afternoon, everyone. We're starting live, officially live now for the webinar. This will be the second part of our webinar with Payoneer. We would like to thank you, of course, for the very successful webinar we had with them last month. And as you know, grabe there's an overwhelming response from the community. Ang dami nating mga signups and everyone has been excited about this. So we decided to have another set or another webinar for you guys because there are questions that we have encountered for the rest of for the entire 1 month no, from the start ng launch natin up to today. So we have gathered the frequent questions, the most commonly asked questions that you have plus more. No, so that's why we said this is an in-depth discussion with Payoneer, and we have again Miguel from Payoneer. He's the country manager of Payoneer. So if you have questions, guys, the one that you had before, everything that you have encountered, and everyone who's with us today, so you can feel free to go to our Facebook account, so Facebook community if you have any questions. And I will be manning the chat for that. All right, and we also have Simon on the line. So I'll go ahead and pass the presenting and everything to Simon. Go ahead, Simon.
Yep. Thank you as well. Let me just add, we are also live on YouTube right now, so if there are any questions as well, you can type it in on YouTube. And after this discussion, we will be entertaining all questions. And as CJ has mentioned, this will be an in-depth explanation of how to go about Payoneer. Since we launched the campaign, as you know, I was the only one entertaining all inquiries, and I'm relaying information with the Payoneer guys in terms of registrations, with the bonuses and your payouts. So all those questions has been categorized, and this is the reason why we're having this webinar. So we will have a better understanding how to go about using Payoneer, and we can tackle here also the issues that we are facing in using Payoneer. So let me pass this on to Miguel now. Miguel, let me just transfer the screen to you.
Okay, thank you, Paolo. Thank you, CJ. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you again for joining us. Let me just say first and foremost that the experience having worked with the OFF community and the admins has been a fantastic experience over the last month. The engagement that we've gotten from the community, the many very insightful and very useful questions that we've seen, and certainly the feedback that we've gotten, right? It's been very, very good. And so this webinar, it made sense to do this because there were some questions, but I also want to say that we do look forward to continuing to work with the community, with the admins, so that we can continue to serve the freelance community, in particular this community, with a very strong partnership with the OFF admins. So again, CJ, Paolo, thank you for inviting me. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, you are already the presenter.
Yes.
Okay, great. So what I've done here is that I have basically focused this session on how to receive payments from direct international clients. Right?
Muted.
Last time I think we did sort of a high level, what is Payoneer, how do you use it. I will still
Unmuted.
points today. Primary focus will be on receiving payments from direct clients, step-by-step guides on how to do this, and also some pointers and some things to note, if you like, when receiving payments from direct clients. So I think I'm not going to spend too much time on introducing Payoneer. I think that you all know us quite well. I will say, though, that Payoneer is growing very quickly in terms of staff, in terms of volumes processed, in terms of countries that we cover, in terms of corporate senders and partners, in terms of account holders. We are, very quickly becoming the leading cross-border payments platform for freelancing and for e-commerce. Payoneer is a registered and regulated money services business in the US and in Europe. We are also getting regulated in countries like Japan, India, and also in other parts of the world, including the United Kingdom. We work with global partners in terms of transferring the funds. So our financial partners include the likes of Bank of America, Barclays, MasterCard, Earthport, and Deutsche Bank. And of course, in terms of our business partners, these are the marketplace partners that we have, just a few of them, and I'm sure you know well, anywhere from e-commerce marketplaces like Amazon and Lazada to vacation rental marketplaces like Airbnb. Of course, freelance marketplaces like Upwork, Freelancer.com, Fiverr, and Guru, and then also specialized marketplaces for things like IT, so Top Coder, TopTal, and also for customer service like Nexus Op and Crossover, which are platforms that are specifically geared for professionals that are in the customer service or support function. I had one particular slide in here also for Freelancer.com, just because I did see when I was browsing the community that some people were asking if we can use Payoneer to receive funds from Freelancer. That is definitely a yes. So I'm sure that you've already signed up with your link from the off community. The way you use it with Freelancer.com is you basically log into your Freelancer.com account. You look for the menu Withdraw Funds from the Payments menu, and then click Freelancer Debit Card. Then you click on the link Get Your Freelancer Debit Card Now, which will redirect you to the Payoneer page. And there you just click Already Have a Payoneer Account, click here, and then follow the instructions. Once you've done this, you will have linked your Payoneer account to Freelancer.com, and now when you have a job or a project on Freelancer.com, you can then receive your funds into Payoneer, same way you're receiving it now from, for example, Upwork or Fiverr, and or from your direct clients. So, as mentioned, majority of my session today will be focused primarily on working with direct clients. It is actually quite a challenging field. The marketplaces and the platforms that offer freelance services to to international clients, they provide a lot of the tools and a lot of the infrastructure to enable freelancers and companies to do business together. But of course, there are also those freelancers that have a direct relationship with their clients, and international payments is one of the key pain points when you're working with direct clients, because the current methods, especially when it comes to wire transfers and other cross-border payment options, are quite expensive. And of course, whenever there is a delay, and whenever payments are late, and whenever payments are held, this impacts on the cash flow of the freelancer. So what Payoneer does is we enable working with direct clients through two methods. One, our global payment service, and two, our billing service. So I'm going to go through these one by one. Basically, our global payment service is the provision of a virtual international receiving account, similar to actually a local bank account in the country where you're receiving the funds. right? So in a nutshell, it's like you went to the US or to Europe or to the UK and you opened a bank account there, and you have now a way to receive funds from international clients in US dollars, euros, pounds, and yen, which we've recently just launched. So those are the countries that we cover right now, and payments can be sent by clients in those countries in different ways, right? So in the US, they're transferred via ACH, which is the automated clearinghouse. In Europe, it's transferred via SEPA. In the United Kingdom, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales, when it's in GBP currency, it's transferred via BACS or FPS. And in Japan, for yen, it's transferred via Zengi, right? So this is also a way and a guide that when you tell your clients abroad, hey, pay me into my virtual bank account, you can also tell them, oh, if you're in the US, use ACH, or if you're in Europe, use SEPA. They will and should know what that means. And it's important here to note that this feature of Payoneer, the global payment service, is open only to companies in the US, Europe, UK, and Japan. So if your client is a company in those countries, in those areas, you can use this to receive payments from them. But if your client is an individual or is from a different country, then you need to use the billing service to request a payment via credit card. Okay, so here's a step-by-step guide on how to use the global payment service. Step 1, log into your Payoneer account using your email address and your password. Once you are in the My Account screen, look for the Receive menu and then choose Global Payment Service. Next, click the currency you would like to receive, and then basically this screen will come up, right? In this particular example, I have a screen where the account has a virtual USD bank account, virtual Euro bank account, and virtual GBP bank account. When you click on those different submenus, you will see the details of your virtual receiving account. So in this particular instance, USD receiving account, it's with Bank of America. There is a routing number provided, there is an account number provided, there is an account type, and then the beneficiary name, which is your name or the name on your Payoneer account, right? So you basically take those details and email or send them to the client, and they can then choose their local transfer service like ACH in the US to then make a payment based on those details. Once your client sends the payment, the funds will be transferred directly to your Payoneer account, and then you can withdraw them at any time to your local bank account or using your Payoneer prepaid MasterCard. Okay. Next is the billing service, right? So this is for those that want to receive funds where the client is an individual and or the client is not in the US, the UK, Europe, or Japan. Step 1, log into Payoneer. Step 2, look for the menu that says Request a Payment, and then fill in the details with the instructions on how your client can pay. This method, the billing service, is for clients that want to pay via credit card or e-check. So here are some of the screens. Basically, as mentioned, you look for the screen Receive Request a Payment, and then this Request a Payment form will pop out. You then fill in the details on the amount for the payment, what it's for, perhaps a description of the payment request, and then you enter the payer details. So if you have a recurring client, you can select an existing one, or you can create a new one. The client can be a company or an individual, as previously mentioned. We just ask you to fill in the details of your client, and then once this is complete, you choose Send. You can also, if you want to preview what it's going to look like for your client, click on the preview button, so it will show you what the client will see once it's been sent, right? And then once it is sent, an email will be received by your client saying, "Hi," in this case it's John Smith, you know, "Michael would like to be paid via Payoneer. Here are the details." There will be a payment request ID, a short description of what the payment is for, and then the amount. So all your client will need to do is to click on the Pay Now button, right? And once he clicks on the Pay Now, and this is the step-by-step on the client side for the sender, all he has to do really is click on Pay Now. He'll be redirected to a secure landing page where he is now on the Payoneer platform, and in the screens he just needs to click on what method. So in this particular case, the options that are available are US Bank, which is e-check, and credit card. He then chooses, okay, there is a fee for this particular payment. Who will cover it? Will he cover it, or will he charge it to the recipient? And then the total amount to be charged and how much the recipient would receive. Then he just clicks continue. It will take him through a few other steps where he will enter his card number or his bank account number. And then once it's done, he will receive a confirmation email that the payment has been made on that particular payment request and the amount that was paid. So I've also prepared here a summary of available payment options and the costs, the limits, and the time associated with each one, right? So if you look at the top, there are there's 5 columns, right? But the 4 columns in terms of the options: e-check, US collection service, which is the US virtual bank account, or the Euro UK collection service, which is the Euro GBP virtual receiving account, or credit card, right? And then it gives you a breakdown of this is available for. So for example, e-check is available for US companies and individuals, but US collection service and EU UK collection service only available for companies, right? But credit cards, companies and individuals worldwide. And then we also say that e-check only supported for US, USD only supported for the US collection service, and then euros and GBP for the euro service, and credit card at the moment USD, euro, GBP. There is definitely more to come. Payoneer is continuing to improve its product offering and expand the number of currencies that we work with. So you know, we're definitely going to be growing this soon. But the key thing, I think, is to look at fees and time, right? So in terms of fees, you only need to remember 2 numbers, 1% and 3%. So 1% is the fee for e-check or the US collection service, and 3% is the fee for credit card. For Euro and UK collection service, there is no fee. So basically, if you have a client in the UK that wants to pay you in pounds, there's no fee. And then time. So e-check typically takes the longest, anywhere from 5 to 10 days to completely process and get the payment loaded into your Payoneer account. The US collection service, 2 to 4 days. I've seen this happen actually in 2 to 3. Same with the Euro and UK collection service and credit card. We say here 2 to 5. Typically, again, I've seen this in 2 to 3 days. Okay, so what I've included here in this next screen, frequently asked questions for payers. I'm not going to go through each and every point here because I've actually extracted this from our customer support site. But the message that I really just wanted to convey is that especially when you're working with direct clients, we will need to ask for documentation in certain cases, right? The reason for that is because Payoneer, being a regulated money services business for specific industries, we have to comply with the terms of service of our license, and this includes making sure that payments are from legitimate sources and from what we refer to as clean lines of business. And meaning clean, we typically don't handle anything that is related to gaming or gambling, right? We also don't handle real estate or recruitment related transactions or precious metals or anything related to pharma, supplements, and the like. Also, there are indeed for payers, which is your client, chances that their payments might be declined, and it could be because their line of business is not supported, or their card maybe was declined, or the payment was declined by their bank, right? There are many reasons for this, and certainly there are guidelines on our customer support site to highlight what potential reasons there are for the payment being declined. But ultimately, we do the best that we can to make sure that we resolve the issues and work with both the payer and the payee to make sure the payment is ultimately loaded. Also, a point on transaction reversals. Payoneer, we do not have a refund or reverse feature, right? Unless it's on the card, and there are certain instances where there is a chargeback on the card, but that is a process that is undertaken by MasterCard, not by Payoneer ourselves. With us, for these payments, they are non-refundable and non-reversible because it's not like a credit card where you can ask for a chargeback. These are direct transfers. So it's like if you wrote a check to someone else, once the funds have cleared, you can't say, oh no, I want those funds back, right? Okay, and then also some frequently asked questions for payees, meaning yourselves, the freelancers, the service providers. Again, just, we will have to sometimes ask for documentation from yourselves, and we also explain why we need to request information from your clients. Obviously, we know that we don't want to hassle clients. We don't want to make payment a difficult thing for them. But we try as much as possible to make sure that we make the process as smooth and painless as possible. But again, there are certain instances where transactions are flagged for compliance purposes or by our risk engine where we need to request for additional information, right? And rest assured that we hold this information in the strictest of confidence, and we will do everything we can to make sure that the process moves along as quickly as possible. How do I know that I've been paid? You will receive an email notification as soon as your customer makes a payment. And then, of course, you're always welcome to contact our customer care. There is a chat option, and there is also a call option. And actually, what I will do, I will share with the admins the Philippines toll-free option, right? Because we've recently been able to secure a Philippines toll-free option, which means that you can call this number from any landline in the Philippines without charges. This will definitely be something which freelancers all over the Philippines will benefit from because they don't need to make an international call anymore to the US. But I will also tell you that there is another option, right? Another option is that actually on Skype you can call US toll numbers for free. So you can take the Payoneer US toll-free number, input it in Skype, call that number. You don't need any credits. It will take you straight through. Okay, so that was the session on receiving payments from direct international clients. My next section here, really just going through again a recap of ways to access the funds once you have been paid. So definitely, once the funds are in your Payoneer account, you can connect it to your local bank and then withdraw the funds into any Philippine bank which has a SWIFT code, and that is the majority of the large banks that we work with here in the Philippines. No transfer fees, right? So there is no fee to transfer the funds from your Payoneer account to your local bank. And then I know a lot of you are already very well familiar with the Payoneer prepaid MasterCard. I mentioned it during our last webinar, but I think it bears mentioning again today. It used to be that when you register for Payoneer, you had to get a card, but now when you register for Payoneer, the card is optional, right? So if you want a card, you do actually have to opt in and after registration order a card. A lot of people might know Payoneer as a prepaid card company, but we're evolving. And I think that a lot of people sometimes register for an account with the expectation that they will already receive a card. But we've changed the process where you need to actually request a card to be sent a card. And there is a fee for the card. There is an annual fee of $29.99 to use the card. But as mentioned, a lot of people, especially freelancers here in the Philippines that have been working on the freelance marketplaces for a long time, already have a bank account, and so typically find this a more convenient way of receiving bigger amounts from the marketplaces, right? Freelancers can opt in for a prepaid MasterCard if they want to use it in stores or online, right? But I would be the first to tell you that it is cheaper and it's more convenient to transfer to your local bank, because with the Payoneer MasterCard, there is a fee to withdraw from an ATM. It's 200 pesos per transaction, right? And if you're trying to withdraw big amounts, it's per transaction, and that could add up, right? So again, my advice, especially if you want a prepaid MasterCard, use it for in-store or online purchases. Use it sparingly to withdraw cash from ATMs. Okay, another thing which I'm not sure if we covered during our last webinar, but I wanted to mention here is Payoneer's Make a Payment feature. Okay, this is actually very convenient for two people that have a Payoneer account that want to transfer business payments, right? So if you have other freelancers working with you or under you, you can pay them via Payoneer's Make a Payment feature. It's free, right? So very handy and very convenient to use this to be able to receive funds from other freelancers, not just here in the Philippines, but also in other countries. And it's very simple. You just log into your Payoneer account, look for the menu that says Make a Payment, click on another account holder, enter their Payoneer details, the amount, and then the funds will be transferred instantly and free of charge. Some of you that have registered for Payoneer may not see this feature open, right? We don't open this up to everybody, but if this is something that is of use to you and it's not given to you already in your account, please do contact the admins. We're definitely open to helping activate this feature for you. Okay, and at this point, perhaps Simon, you'd also like to jump in here to basically introduce the top 5 issues, right? Because what I've done here is I've basically taken some of the issues that have been raised by the admins of the OFF community, and I'm going to answer them here. So maybe Simon, you'd like to sort of do a preamble on the issues?
Yes. Can you hear me? Sorry.
Yes, can hear you
Okay.
clearly.
Yes. So I think we have this like 2 weeks back, and I basically gathered the most frequent inquiries that the community has been asking me. So anyway, before I start with this top 5 issues, let me just ask a few questions pertaining to the presentation you did earlier. And guys, if you have any questions, feel free to ask it on the YouTube live or on our Facebook page. So I'm both looking uh, on the screen right now. So if you have any questions, just uh, mention it by the time we finish discussing about this top 5 issues. We'll be addressing, we'll be answering your questions, or hopefully we have been able to answer it already. So, Miguel,
Sure.
in terms of global payment service, so in the US we have ACH, and in Europe we have SEPA, and I think we also have in Japan, right? So
Yes.
the question here is, will the freelancers using the global payment service for receiving payments from client, will they be eligible to receive the bonus from the affiliate program? That's one of the questions being raised.
The answer is yes.
Okay. And from the billing services, so we have e-check, we have credit card options. So which among the billing services options will have the freelancer be eligible for the bonus, and which among those also will they be not they won't be eligible to for the bonuses? Because we have had instances or scenarios wherein I think the freelancer followed certain uh, instructions on requesting payment to clients. However, I think the mode of payment, I'm not sure, or the means of payment that the client did for them does not qualify them to receive the bonuses. So we want to understand
Ah,
which among the billing
okay.
services will qualify them and which is not.
Okay, so here's the thing, right? Actually, that's the last point here, right, on the top five, right? What kind of payment options should the freelancers use and apply in order for the $75, $100 to take effect, right? So let me answer this in a nutshell. The payment options that I presented today, except for make a payment, right, are all eligible for the bonus. Now, that being said, um, some of you might have seen that the bonuses are getting paid faster than others, right? And
Mhm.
Simon, I think that is the reason, because with if you use the global payment services or if you use the billing service to receive payments from the client, because of sometimes the lead times that are required and sometimes the additional checks that need to be made to make sure that it's a good payment, right? There are sometimes delays in the crediting of the reward and the bonus, right? So what we've agreed to is to work closely with the auth admins to make sure that we manually load those that we have not had a chance to yet, right? And then we will try to do this as quickly as possible because our standard method of loading the reward is actually, I think, a month or two after the uh, payment has been received. That's our standard, right? But because you're working very carefully and closely with the auth community and the auth admins, we will come to an arrangement where we will help them and we will do some of these crediting processes manually and work with you to make sure that you get the reward as soon as possible once an eligible payment is received.
Okay. hmm
Okay.
Well, there are questions here. I think I can summarize this up. So basically,
I have a question.
yes, go ahead,
Yes,
CJ.
please, DJ.
While Tamara is checking the questions, we mentioned UK, US, Japan. What about Australian clients?
Oh, so I have a lot of freelancers and small businesses asking me about Australia, right?
Yes.
Because there is a big demand from Australian companies for outsourcing services here in the Philippines, right? At this
Mhm.
stage, all that I can say is that Australian dollars and virtual Australian bank account is on our roadmap, but
Okay.
unfortunately, I can't yet give you a date as to when it will be available.
Oh, okay. Thank you. That answers because we have freelancers who they have clients from Australia and they wanted to use the service. So there,
Yes,
that
I
answers.
know. I know, and
Thank you.
you
Thank
know,
you, Mib.
I was just CJ, just on that point, right? I was just talking
Uh,
to someone from like a BPO industry, and he was saying that
uh,
demand from Australian businesses and small businesses for outsourcing in the Philippines is really taking off, right? And I think we're also
Yes.
seeing it in your community, in the freelance community in the Philippines, where many of us have an Australian client, right?
Mm,
So
mm.
we're working on this. Australian virtual receiving account is something which I hope to prioritize for us. And as soon as we hear word, we will definitely communicate.
All right. Thanks, Migs. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Very welcome.
All right, Miguel, can you show the screen earlier wherein it shows the turnaround time for payments to reflect? I think you have a slide earlier showing that.
This
This
one.
one.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes,
so basically this applies to direct client payments, right? So
that's correct.
okay, for partners like for example Upwork, so it's clear or it's safe to say that the the default turnaround time should be 48 hours or 2 days, but most of the time we're doing it faster, correct?
That is correct. That is correct. And it will depend on the partner, right? So, for example, if it's an e-commerce website, sometimes payments are once every 3 days, right? Um, in other partners, it is next day, right? But normally, it's anywhere from 24 to 48 hours, depending on the partner.
Okay. But okay, here's the thing because we have had encountered situations wherein this time frame, this turnaround time, is still their money didn't reflect on their account. So, what are the possible scenarios that this could have happened? Because I can only see one wherein this scenario is where either the freelancer or the client who's making the payment has not fulfilled or has not completed the form that they need to fill up. But is there any other
Yes.
factor that we need to consider uh, for the payment to be pended or to be delayed
Is, is this from a marketplace payment or from a direct client?
from a direct client? Because this is the
Okay.
scenario most of the time for direct clients.
Yes, right, right. And yeah, so part of the challenge here, I think, is that especially when it's the first time that you've received the payment, right, there is information requested on both sides, right? So most of the time, the reason for the delay is because either the client hasn't filled in the form and uploaded his details, or the freelancer has not filled in the form and uploaded their details. And then the other thing is that typically the counting or the number of days starts from when all of those things have been fulfilled,
Right.
right? So that's also why sometimes people might think na parang within this period of time it will come, but the reality, unfortunately, is that the clock starts, if you like, from the time that the client and the freelancer has fulfilled the information request from Payoneer to make sure that the payment can go ahead. And again, as I mentioned, right, this is not an all-the-time thing. This is just typical for first-time payments. Once we've cleared you and your direct client, typically month on month, no issues already. It's faster, no more additional information requested. That being said, if for example there is a spike, like for example your client was paying you $1,000 a month, and then all of a sudden 1 month it goes up to 10,000, right? That might trigger something which may potentially ask us to request for additional information. But by and large, if it's the same amount and it's regular and it's the same client, it will be smooth and painless after the first one.
Okay, so only the first time transactions will take longer for clearing and verification, right? Because well, that's
For verification, right? Yeah, for verification, right? And then, as I also mentioned, if something changes, like the amount goes much bigger, right?
mhm.
That might also trip a risk review or a compliance check, where we might say, hey, could you provide us additional information on why the payment has grown significantly, right? And again, this is for the protection of both parties and also for us to make sure that the payments are legitimate and from what we call clean lines of businesses.
I see. And how about this scenario? Same client, same pay,
Hmm.
maybe same amount of payment, but the client decided, like, let's say the first transaction he used e-check, then the second payment
Ah,
that he did was credit card. So will it also
mm,
require another verification and clearing procedure?
yes, sometimes it may. Sometimes it may, right? And this is really just flagged sometimes by our risk engine, right? So I'm not going to categorically say that it will always happen,
Hmm.
right? But it may. It may.
Okay. What else? Can we go back on the top five concerns screen?
Okay.
Okay, I think this is the most common right now, or I mean, this is the most inquiries we're having. So the third one, what is the exact
Hmm.
parameter or standard that the community has to understand in terms of merging accounts? But maybe you can add just something, but this is what I normally tell them. Uh,
Okay.
because the scenario right now is the freelancers have been asking if they can what do you call this, delete or remove their old accounts. And I've been explaining to everyone that since this is like a financial institution, there's technically no delete option from deleting Payoneer accounts within Payoneer. Their account might be suspended, their account may be blocked, but never deleted, right?
Hmm. That is correct.
Okay, so in the same essence, so what would be the standards that the community has to understand for them to be eligible in merging their old and usable accounts with the new one that they will be creating or they might have created already?
Okay, and so before I get into this, I think what's really important is to also explain the essence of the partnership and the reward offer for the off community,
Mm-hmm.
right? This really is for new Payoneer registrations, right? Those that don't have an account yet,
Yes,
right?
correct.
So um, the uh, the objective here really is for us to encourage those within the community without a Payoneer account yet to sign up, right? Now, those with previously unusable accounts or accounts which they can no longer access because they forgot the password or they have no longer access to the email, right? These are cases where, okay, the system may actually allow you to register again because the account has been long dormant, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then in that instance, it is then a way, sort of a scenario where we can merge something that is already existing as a payout option in a marketplace like Upwork to the new account that was registered and approved by Payoneer, and then merge the two accounts, right? And I guess that is for me the primary scenario and the standard on merging accounts, right? Keeping in mind, of course, that the true essence of this partnership and the offer is for those that have not yet used Payoneer.
That's right. Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Uh, what else? I don't have any questions here on the live feed. Are there any other questions within
Ko
our FB
again.
page?
I'm very interested in the topic kasi direct client nga ako there as you guys know that. Mix, I just have a favor. Can we go to the slide wherein you the client will choose between ACH and credit card? Yan. So, how can a client, kasi I think as for the listeners lang, no, I tried this before, and then the client sent an e-check payment. So it
I
really took
know.
a while. So
I
yes,
know.
for so nagulat din ako.
I know.
It's a good experience din, no, kasi as an admin. So yung admin
Uh-huh.
mismo, delay yung payment niya. So
I know. I
alright,
know.
so we didn't know na si client pala e-check yung sinend niya, but I prepped him to to
Mhm.
um to send me via ACH. I gave him yung routing number na pinakita natin kanina. So I was just confused between. So when we say the billing service, you mentioned that the billing service is for the e-check and for the credit card payments. These are for individuals, right?
Yes.
For the individual
Yes.
clients. So I'm
Yes.
not
Yes.
sure
Yes.
if I did it incorrectly that I chose request a payment kasi when I played on the tabs dun sa
Mhm.
receive tabs pareho
Mhm.
sila, they will all be put into the request a payment tab. Now,
Right.
seeing this kind of option, there are two options between US bank and credit card. So I'm
Mhm.
assuming that my client has seen this option. So how do
Uh-huh.
we know if ACH ba yung pinoprocess niya or e-check?
Okay. So here's the thing, right? And again, this is something that for us is still in development, and that's why I have mentioned here that maybe it's easier just to associate billing service with e-check and credit card only, right?
Okay.
Technically, there is a way when the client clicks on US Bank that he can also pay via ACH, right? But he would actually have to go outside of Payoneer and complete the payment on his business banking account. So parang outside the system, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's no way in the system right now to execute an ACH payment, not at
I
the
see.
moment, for the
Okay.
client. So that's why if your client is a business or a company in the US, Europe, UK, or Japan, going back to this slide here, right?
Yes.
The
Yes.
simplest thing to do is to do number 4, which is email or send your clients the details displayed there, right?
Okay, so just
And
email. I see. Okay.
yeah, or put it in like an invoice, right? So like
Right.
typically you send your client a billing statement or whatever it is, include it at the bottom of the billing statement so the client knows, okay, I can pay into CJ's bank account with these details, right?
Got it. Okay.
And then
Okay.
what he does is he goes to his business banking, internet banking account uh, with whatever bank he has there, and then he pays via ACH via his internet banking using your details, right?
Okay. I got. Okay. Clear na siya ngayon. Yes.
Yes,
We
yes,
can
yes,
use it. Yes. Because
yes, yes, yes.
as we profile the freelancers, not we found out that we are not really more on Upwork. So merong mga tiga online jobs.ph. Yun
Mm,
nga. So
mm,
may
mm.
mga direct clients din sila from other platforms which they are
Yes,
very interested in this, and they're new freelancers and new to Payoneer that they're very much
yes.
eligible on the
Very much
program. So
eligible. Absolutely, absolutely.
thank
Right,
you so much,
right.
Migs, for clarifying that.
No problem, no problem. You know, I don't actually have any more slides, but while we're still on, I would also like to share that the Payoneer blog is actually a great resource, right? So it's blog.payoneer.com. We have news, we have industry tips, customer success stories, and how-tos, right? So you can actually search there how to receive a direct payment from a client, right? How to use
Okay.
Payoneer with your affiliate marketing business. There are videos, there are tips, there are also infographics, right? So this is a very useful resource for freelancers, and also, you know, lots of content here that you might find interesting, right? Like, I know a lot of freelancers, they wear multiple hats, right? They might be a
Yes,
virtual assistant, but they're also a blogger, right? They
that's
might
right.
also be an SEO expert, right? And so this blog, many things that you can get tips on to earn even more online.
We'll definitely check that out later. All right. All right. So thank you. Simon, do you have any other questions? Kasi ako, okay na. Wala na rin yatang masyadong questions sa community.
Yeah.
Ngayon, hindi.
Uh, just
Mhm.
one confirmation. So e-check is the longest turnaround time for payments, right?
Yes.
Yes, it is the longest turnaround
Just
time for
taking
each
notes,
check.
sorry.
It's a no, just to and also, I think e-check is actually a very convenient one for the client. Also, that's why,
Mm,
right, we
Mm.
offer.
yes.
But definitely for the freelancer, I would discourage e-check because it takes a while.
Well, if they have extra pera pa, so okay lang
Yes,
din.
exactly, exactly. Okay lang din kung may extra
Correct.
pera pa. Exactly, exactly.
Alright. Anything else? Any last words, Migs, before we end the webinar?
Actually, I hope to see many of the people from the off community very soon, right?
Yay.
So,
We're gonna work on that
uh,
with you. Yes.
yes, we're going to work on that, right, CJ? We're going to work on that,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes.
I think
Correct.
that what I've learned in this industry is that there is no substitute for talking to people face to face, answering questions face to face, and working with people face to empower them to achieve their full potential in freelancing.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty, thank you so much. Thank you very much, Mix, for your assistance sa group. And you know what? In behalf of the members, in behalf of the community, we're so thankful for Payoneer for bringing this up to us. You know, we've debunked the myth na Payoneer is
Yes.
not so convenient way, pero they were amazed as we've been receiving the feedback na parang, oh, Wednesday morning sa Upwork kasi Wednesday morning yung withdrawal time. So hapon nandito na. That goes to
Congrats,
any
that's
bank,
fantastic. Yeah,
BDO,
yeah,
BPI, iyon. So they're so much thankful kasi this is a very good opportunity and alternative for us. Plus the exchange
yes,
rate, guys. Two thumbs up
Yes, I
for
yes.
think
that.
that's the number
Thank
one
you.
thing. I mean, the forex returns is really high compared to
Yes,
any
yes. They're
other
so
payment
happy
options.
about it.
Fantastic. That makes me so happy. Also, again, thank you, CJ. Thank you, Simon, for working with us. Right. This is just a start. As I said, I think there
Yes.
are many ways that we can take the partnership to a next level and work with freelancers all over the Philippines to bring them the same benefits that we are showing the participants on our webinar today.
Right, right. Thank you. Simon, any parting words before we end?
Yes, I'm still available for PMs as always.
Yes, 3,000.
Uh,
2,000. Yes. Woohoo! Grabe.
so just
Grabe ka.
please guys, ano lang request ko lang, just please bear with me. I'd be honest, ang pinaka-konti na nare-receive kong PM within a day's time is like 100 to 200, and the
Oh
most
my God.
we're in.
Mm.
The first time I encountered, I receive about 1,000 plus questions within 24
Yes,
hours.
no,
So
ano.
it's really
Oh
overwhelming, and
my
it's
gosh.
Launch
also,
natin, Migs.
yeah, and it's really fun. It's really fun because I get to learn from people's inquiries, and at the same time nagsisisi ako hindi ko sinunod si CJ on making those default responses.
Template. Sabi ko kasi sa kanya gumawa ng template kasi common naman yung question. So pag na-encounter niya na,
Yes.
just send the same thing. Hindi talagang nagtatype siya. Talagang personalized yung yung mga messages niya. Talagang grabe.
That's fantastic. But again, I also think that that's part of the reason why it's been such a success, right?
Yes, yes.
You cannot discount the fact that the efforts of the admins in answering direct messages and working with the community are a big part of why the community has embraced this, right? So
I
also for me,
agree.
my hats off to you guys because you have become experts in the product, right? And that you really have shown that you care about your community and that you engage very, very closely with your community. So my hats off to you guys. Congratulations. And again,
Thank
I
you.
really do
Thank
look
you.
forward to more face-to-face interactions with
Yes,
off.
we're gonna have that. I'll be talking to Mix directly on that, so guys be ready.
Yeah,
So
fantastic.
there. All right. So
Okay,
thank you. If there's nothing else, thank
great.
you so much again. Thank you, Mix. Thank you,
Thank you,
Payoneer.
Happy
Miguel.
Thank
weekend,
you, Off
everyone. Happy
Community.
weekend.
Bye
See
for
you again
now.
soon. Bye-bye.
Bye
Bye.
guys. Thank you.
Thank you.